Hey good buddies, what's up and welcome into the Good Buddies Anime Review. I am your good buddy Roger.
And I am your good buddy Brandon.
And this is part two of the best winter anime season for the year 2020.
Yes, this is what we, your good buddies, think you, our good buddies, should be watching this season. We're pretty good into it now. We got like 4 and 5 episodes out on some of these. Yeah, it's we're getting a good taste for them.
Yeah, and then we'll of course have the ramble after this where we do honorable mentions and
honorable
stuff like that.
honorable mention, dishonorable mentions, some straight up trash.
Yeah.
Which we'll have a lot to talk about in there, but let's get on to it. Now, before we do, usually we do 2 and 2 of these. Roger, I believe you said you had one more to bring?
I have one more, yeah.
Yeah, one more to bring. All right, so I'll go ahead and start us off then, and we'll sandwich it. How about that?
That sounds great.
Make us a nice, tasty Roger sandwich. Okay, that was a little more than I thought it would be. Okay. But yes, let me start us off with one that I've talked about previously. Got a weird name on this one, but honestly, I love it. It is called Toilet Bound Hanako-kun. I believe you watched a few of this one as well.
I did.
Awesome, man. Toilet Bound Hanako-kun is a pretty straightforward one. It's the story of a high school girl, Nene Yashiro, who makes a deal with a ghost boy, Hanako-kun, to try and find true love. So this one it's based on an urban legend in Japan about, I believe it's Hanaka, who is a being that you like go to as I understand, it's kind of like Japanese Bloody Mary. You go to the bathroom, you knock on the door of the third stall, and this ghost thing jumps out and drags you to hell through the toilet. Unless you're quick enough to get out, I guess. This one takes that and twists it a little bit, where instead of being a creepy ghost girl, it's a creepy ghost boy, who in fact isn't all that malicious. He mostly just wants to protect the school. He is one of the 7 wonders of this school. There's all these like spiritual and ghostly and a bunch of specters, if you will, who haunt this place. And he's kind of tasked himself with keeping them in line when he can. It's a pretty interesting show. The true love thing doesn't exactly work out for Nene, but she instead finds herself as basically Hanako's spirit wrangling assistant as he attempts to protect the school, as I already said. The cool thing about this one for me is, I will say now, as I've said before, has very limited animation. It's kind of an animated manga style. You can attest to this. But for me, it's just amazing because the art of it is beautiful.
And that's not to say it's like kind of go to like what comes to mind, unfortunately, is Goku dolls. Yeah, it has much more motion than that.
It has more motion than that, but it's definitely limited compared to some others. There's not a lot of like dynamic stuff, and yet they do manage to
do a lot of frame stuff though too. Like
they do manage to make the action scenes actiony. Yeah, it's pretty cool. But yeah, the big thing here is just the art style is absolutely glorious. I've said before, it's one of those that you could take. I'm not like literally any frame of this and put it on my wall and I would be happy. It's just beautiful. And I'm really into it. Yeah. You get a lot of other characters introduced and a lot of cool ghost stories, and a lot of them are based on like real Japanese folklore, which is pretty cool. But yeah, it's like super rad. I love it. It's a ghosty show, and Hanako and Nene have like a really fun, silly kind of chemistry with them.
It's just cool. Pretty cute. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cute. I like it a lot. So yeah, check out, again, weird name on this one, Toilet Bound Hanako-kun. You can find that one streaming on Funimation. Pretty sweet.
Yeah, and if there's one more thing I could say about it, it's the sound design for it is amazing.
Oh yeah, really good sound.
They do like that old, 50s and 60s style like horror music, and just like trying to give it like this creep factor where it's still kind of silly. It's still like cute. There are moments, particularly in the newest one, episode 4, that I was like legit like, okay, that's actually pretty creepy. Like, there's some good stuff in there, man. I think it's a lot of fun. I'm not into horror at all, but the show's cute enough that it works, even when it's creepy. But yeah, good time. Check it out. Toilet Bound Hanako-kun on Funimation. What you got for me, big boy? The one that I have this week is, last week I mentioned that I had 2 psychological ones talking about. This will be the second of the 2. It is on Amazon Prime, and it is called Pet. Hoo boy. So, the first episode is going to confuse the hell out of you no matter what. And it's meant to be that way. Yes, it is. This I'll kind of get into this later, but the show has a very specific way of giving you information. But essentially, Pet it's about people in a world that can go into one's mind. And in your mind, you'll have highs and lows. your peaks and your valleys.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't no mountain high enough.
Oh, God.
Ain't no valley low enough.
Jesus.
To keep me from loving my good buddy Brandon.
Thank you. You suck.
But yeah, essentially, that's kind of how they route it out for you, where all your darkest memories are, and or even some of your just more mundane, cringy memories, stuff like that. They're all in those valleys.
Mm-hmm.
But your favorite memories, your most fond memories, that one thing that you'll never forget that made you so happy, that is your peak.
Yes.
And essentially, these people can go into your mind or go into one's mind and alter those memories if they need to.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea is that, especially with these people that can, when they start tinkering with other minds, they're connected to another person, generally called their pet.
Mm-hmm.
And the pet is what kind of eases them into getting into their absolute peak. If you crush that peak, then essentially it wipes their brain.
Now I'll just jump in here to say Roger is throwing out a lot of terminology. He's doing a pretty good job explaining it, but like peaks, valleys, crushing, all this. There's a lot of terminology this show throws at you, then it's not immediately easy to comprehend.
Yeah, right.
And I think intentionally so. It is meant, particularly that first episode, it is meant to confuse you.
Yeah.
And it does a great job.
It really does. The first episode, you're like, what the hell is going on here?
What WTF did I just watch?
So when all this stuff happens, like you can crush somebody's mind, and it essentially makes them
you break them.
Yeah, they're
loopy.
You know when Electric Boy in MHA shocks his stuff and he's just all thumbs.
Yeah.
That's essentially what you'll be, and they can just mold you into killing yourself or something like that.
Yeah,
it's often used for assassination.
Yeah, the people, most of the time, the people you see doing this stuff are not. They are not necessarily good guys or bad guys. They are organized criminals who are doing a job.
They're part of something called the Company.
Yes.
Which, to this point, I'm 5 episodes in, has not been explained.
Yeah.
And that'll lead me to my next point.
Yeah.
Is how the information they give you is a slow trickle.
Yes.
But you'll be confused about something, and then they'll give you a little bit, and it'll open up your mind. You're like, oh wow, this all makes sense.
Right.
It's a very cool way that they unfold these things for you.
Mm-hmm.
I've really been enjoying it. I would say that the way that it's set up so far in the 5 episodes that I've been through is the first episode gets in there, it confuses you. The second episode opens you up into what happens. It makes you understand. It gives you kind of feeling of what is going on. And then the third episode is where the story proper kicks off.
Now, I am up to that third episode. You're up to like 5, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm not as caught up as you. I'm less enthused about this one, I'll say. I still like it. But I feel like I'm going to need to catch up and see what it's really about.
I would say, so in the very first episode, there's a character named Hayashi.
Yeah, I know who that is.
He's right at the beginning. He's the dude with the long hair. He gets reintroduced at the very end. You just see a little snippet of him at the end of the third episode, and the fourth episode is involving them on the search for Hayashi.
Gotcha.
And that's where it really, like, when he gets reintroduced back in, and you can see how much of a badass this dude is. Oh, it gets good. The mind games are freaking intense, and the mental battles they have. One of them in particular is so damn beautiful.
Okay.
So a lot of the people that will enter your mind, they came from. It's hard to explain.
Yeah.
Hayashi was one of the original guys.
Yeah.
And then 2 of the characters were his pets.
Yeah. One of them I did figure out who they were.
Right.
Like from that first episode and then later on.
And one of the guys that he's kind of locked in with was one of his pets before the guy you're referring to.
Yes.
Okay. So, a pet essentially, like I said, lets them go into minds, get through things, gates and doorways, locks easier. And they'll have an element attached to them. Not the pet. The pet will have some sort of other form that goes with their element.
I'm dying.
I know. It's kind of hard to understand.
No,
anyway,
it's definitely one you just got to check out.
Hayashi is wind, and the guy now has his own element, and he's water.
Gotcha.
So watching the wind and the water clash together as they're going through each other's minds is freaking incredible to look at.
That is one thing I will say is the art style for this one, particularly obviously when they're in people's minds, is surreal in a way I can't even begin to comprehend or tell you about. It's really fascinating to watch.
Yeah, also it is pretty dark. That should be mentioned too.
This show is very dark.
Yeah, you go into these these
episode 3 in particular can just, oh boy.
Yeah. Yeah, you get these backstories or whatever, and you get down into those valleys, and you're like, wow, these are some dark memories.
Yeah, you're gonna see, without getting too spoilery, there's moments of some pretty intense child abuse. There's some very bad stuff that happens. You see a lot of deaths in this show, be they coming across a dead body or making a dead body, let's say.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fairly violent at times.
Yeah.
Very violent at times.
Yeah, so that's worth noting. It does have some heavy themes. But man, the show is awesome, and the last thing that I would like to say about it is, and you might not agree with this, but
oh boy, here we go.
In my mind, this so far is gonna be the freaking opening, the beat.
Okay.
The opening sequence and the music. The song is by Ling Segure Toste, who does all of the Psycho-Pass music. I know you haven't seen Psycho-Pass.
Yeah.
But my God, they are freaking incredible, and the stuff they rendered up for this opening is amazing.
Yeah.
None of it comes from the show, and it is just like it's like a nervous breakdown. You can see these characters, and their faces are still, and it's just their hands coming to cover their like screaming faces and stuff.
I do like that.
Ooh, it is good.
It is intense, and it is what's the word I'm looking for? It is
feverish,
harrowing to watch, to
nightmarish
experience.
almost.
Yes.
And with the way intense. That the dude sings in the band too.
Yeah. So I have seen people online saying they don't like the song. I don't have a problem. I think it's fine.
I love the song.
Yeah, I'm into it.
Yeah. I actually love the band, so I was really excited to see that they did a song. It's called TK, by the way.
Pretty sick.
So if anything, go look up that song because it is dope.
Yeah, check out the intro.
Yeah,
it's pretty sweet.
But yeah, that's it. That's Pet. It's on Amazon Prime. It is very strange, but it gets less strange. They trickle that information in just enough. They give you just enough to where you feel good about. You're like, oh, now it all makes sense.
Yeah.
And you're gonna if you get into those newer episodes, a lot more stuff is gonna make sense.
I get you.
But also there are gonna be more questions too. But at that point, how they're telling the story.
I got you.
So it's very good. I would definitely recommend it. It's probably my third favorite of the season.
I get you.
So,
all right.
Yep. That is, well, it is my third, so.
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, but then again, you had some that were also my favorite too, so.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Brandon, you want to tell them what you got?
I got one more for us, and this is one that, I'll be honest, I kind of struggle with because there was a lot of shows I enjoyed this season, and I was trying to figure out which one of these do I really want to bring to the table. And I ended up watching a few, like episode 4s, even some 5s, and I ended up landing on this one that, honestly, I just really like it. It's just a nice show. And it is called Beaufry, I Don't Want to Get Hurt, So I'll Max Out My Defense. And it's one of those VR MMO games, and there's this girl playing the game, and she's got a friend who wants to play the game with her, but she goes to her, so she's playing the game by herself. And it's like she drops in and immediately accidentally becomes super OP. And everything about it is nice. The art is nice. The animation is very nice. The characters are very nice. There's bits where like it is self-aware in a way that these shows I want them to be more, but they usually aren't. So like she maxes out her defense because she's like, I want to get her. She takes the shield hero class, and she's like she's like wearing armor. She's got a big shield, and she's all defense. And then she puts all her points in vitality. She's like, I mean, I'm already in vitality. I may as well go full, whole hog on vitality. And then she's getting attacked by monsters who literally can't damage her, and she's just sitting there taking hits because it's funny to her. And as she does that, whenever you get hit by something, if you get hit by it enough, you build up an immunity. So now she's getting better defensive techniques. And then she gets hit by poison, and she's like, oh no, poison actually goes straight through my defense. But she ends up like managing to take enough poison hits and beating a poison monster, and now she's like resistant to poison. And she's resistant, so she goes and fights a big poison hydra that should just kill her, but she takes enough potions and stuff to live. And here's the thing. There's a bit here, so it's one of them, she's a little cute girl. She's a, what's the term, moe. She's a little Moe baby. She's a Moe baby. And she's like many of those characters do. How you make them extra cute? You give them little fangs. Okay, she's got little teeth. You know what I'm talking about, Roger. She got them little teeth. And she's fighting this big snake Hydra thing, and the snake Hydra thing has her wrapped up, and she can't hit it. She's got a shitty little sword that doesn't even do damage. She's like, how am I gonna fight this thing? So she just starts biting it. And she bites it with her little Moe fangs until she starts eating it, and then it dies. And now she has Hydra power because she ate a fucking poison Hydra. It's so goofy, and it's adorable, and I love it. And she has that whole, like, must protect thing going on to the point that other characters in the game have the same feeling toward her. They're like, oh, she's doing a great job. We gotta make sure she's okay. And, like, each episode ends with, like, a little, like, chat session with these characters, some of whom you can figure out who they are by what they're saying. Some of them, it's just, these are randos. Sure. But they're, like, dropping in these little, like, oh, man, you wouldn't believe it. I saw this shield girl getting, just taking a nap while she was getting attacked. What? That's crazy. Like, no one's defense is that high. I mean, maybe she put it all in defense, like that kind of shit. And also, it plays with the fact that her defense is so high, so she has, like, 0 agility, which means she can't run. She's literally, in episode 4, she gets a pet turtle. It's the cutest pet turtle in the world, and the turtle is faster than she is. Like, because she has 0 agility. It's freaking hilarious. The whole thing is very cute. It's very nice. If you want, like, some pretty decent action sequences also. Like, there's fights that are, like, legitimately like, whoa, that's pretty rad. It is a lot of, like, these characters screaming the name of their attacks over and over again, because that's how these things work. But it's very cute. It's very fun. It's very nice. And it's got some decent action, like surprisingly decent action. I did not think the action scenes were going to be as good as they are. And I think I love it. And again, that one's streaming on Funimation. It's called Bofuri, Bofuri. I don't want to get hurt, so I'll max out my defense.
Is that one not on Crunchyroll as well?
That I'm not sure. It might be.
I think it is, but
I know for sure it's on Funimation. Yeah. It might be on Crunchyroll as well. But that's where I'm watching on Funimation. And it's just a fun show. Yeah. Put it on, have a laugh.
Real cute.
Look at these cute kids. They're having a great time. Oh no, they're fighting an Articuno in this episode. What? That's a straight up Pokemon. Oh, okay. It's ridiculous. It's really cute. It's really fun. I love it. I think I love it.
I like it.
Yeah. It's a cute show though. Check it out. I'll say right now, if you let me just say this to throw it out there. If you're gonna watch one VR MMO show, and it's between Bofuri and Big Dindy, check out Bofuri. That's my pick.
Big Dindy?
Say right now, is better than Big Dindy. It's not as fun to say as Big Dindy. It's better than Big Dindy. I like it better than Big Dindy.
Okay.
But yeah, that's mine. I think we're good on the actual recommendations.
Yep.
And so, we're going to go ahead and slam on through some minor plugs for the YouTube and go into the ramble, which is going to be our honorable and dishonorable mentions. Please check those out. So, what do we need to tell the nice people? Be sure to like and subscribe. We really appreciate it. And if you don't feel like liking our video, tell us why. Leave us a comment and tell us why. We want to improve. And if we can't do that, then what are we even doing here, Roger?
What are we even doing?
What are you doing here?
What are we doing?
Full links in the description, full plugs at the end of the ramble. Do want to, of course, give a shout out to our good buddy Haas, who you're about to hear if you're watching the YouTube review portion of the show. That's Thomas Tastes Better on Instagram. Good old Haas. For the use of our closing theme there, it's called The Buddy's Good. Shout out to Haas. Love you, Haas. Again, that's Thomas Tastes Better on Instagram.
All right, man. Do you know what we're watching next week?
I don't. We haven't talked about it at all. What are we doing?
We're gonna talk about the second season of Legend of the Galactic Heroes. De Nuitese.
Oh, this show. Yeah. So we're talking about the second season. If you're thinking, hey, I don't remember hearing a review for the first season. Well, that was back when we were doing full episode breakdowns that took 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
World's longest anime podcast.
Hey, man, but we got a lot of experience doing those.
We did. It was a good time.
Got a lot more comfortable on these microphones.
Microphones? Yeah. But yes, we're going to talk about season 2, which is, I think was like a... I think it was a
set of 3 movies.
It was a set of 3 movies called Legends of Galactic Heroes, Dainoyatese Galactic War, I think was the name of it. I'm not sure. Stellar War. I think it was Stellar War. But yes, that's what we're going to watch. That's what we're talking about next week.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty cool show if you haven't seen it.
Yeah. It's really good. It's gonna be kind of tough to do the review, but I really want to talk about it. At some length at least.
It's got a great like intro and outro.
Yeah. So tune in for that. Watch the first and second season if you haven't seen. The first season is incredible. I'll go ahead and I'll give it a solid score of I'll give it an 8.5.
Nice. Yeah, for the
first season. Yeah.
I think it's about right. I don't think we were actually doing scores before. We were doing a 3-word thing. So yeah. I think it's about a 8.5.
Yeah. And I think this season it could be a little bit better. I don't know.
We'll find out.
We'll find out. But thank you, good buddies, so much for hanging out and talking with us. If you're on YouTube, of course, you'll catch the ramble tomorrow, or whenever you find this. We'll have a ramble. It'll say to Winter 2020 Anime Season Part 2 ramble.
Yeah, man.
Say something like that.
And we'll see you there.
All right.
Love you.
Love you.